Hello, and welcome back to Alice Talks Football, and welcome back to a Manchester United news live stream transfer update. Not really a transfer update, a news update on the channel. And guys, we have a lot to talk about. I'm like, Alice, why are you smiling? Why are you smiling? Look at the news the last few days. Ollie's here for Spurs, Alice. We are screwed. I'm just smiling because our club is run so badly, guys. It just makes me laugh. That my club makes me laugh because their owners are that bad. Sometimes I just sit at Manchester United and I just laugh. And you know what's like? I shouldn't be finding it funny. It should be annoying me. Do you know what I'm finding really funny at the moment? Is all the sources coming out the dressing room, all the news stories coming out the dressing room about people questioning why Maguire's captain, people questioning Ollie's choices. It shouldn't make me laugh, but it's from reliable sources, like it's from reliable sources. I don't think it's made up. But I just sit there and I'm just laughing at a lot of the stuff that's coming out. I'm just laughing at a lot of the stuff that's coming out right now as a Manchester United fan, because I tell you what, this club is a mess, and I do not know how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the job. When we've had talks with Conte, when Conte said he'll take the job, and when there's multiple leaks about what's going on in the club, and what's going on in the club is a mess. I say this now, guys, the dressing room at Manchester United is gone. It is gone. Like, there's no going back. Like, when I say the dressing room is gone at Manchester United, I mean like Madeline McCann level gone. Like, Ollie's not coming back from this. We're not going to find the root of the problem if we stick with Ollie, because the problem is Ollie. Like, it's a mess, and there's a lot to tell you, actually. There's a lot of news stories to tell you. And all of that, by the way, guys. So do smash a like on the video if you have not already. Subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel, and share this video. But basically what I'm going to be talking about in today's video is apparently Conte is still set to come in and join Manchester United, according to reports about actually Ollie will be sacked after the next 3 games. Apparently the board have decided to give Ollie Manchester City, Atalanta and Spurs to save his job, and they said it would take a lot for him to save his job. He'd have to win all 3 games convincingly, apparently, because they don't want to bring in Conte now where he's got 3 hard games ahead. They want to bring Conte in the international break. That's a story that's come out, and I will tell you where that's from, what's been said, and get into more detail about that story. There's another story that's come out from Henry Winter, I'd say a pretty reliable journalist, and he said again that the next 3 games would lead into the international break. When any break happens, it'll be easy for Manchester United to find a replacement. And that's another journalist saying that the club want to look actually in the November international break for a replacement for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And if Conte is going to be appointed, that's when he's going to be appointed. And I did say the other night when I did my video on I think Conte to Man United is going to happen, because I was convinced Ole was going to be sacked the other morning, and he wasn't. But I did say the other night, Demarzio are talking about the international break with Conte, and Demarzio is a really reliable source, and they talked about Conte in the international break. So I think what the board are doing is they're delaying the process of sacking Ole because they're stupid. I'm sorry, just keeping Ollie for another 3 games is just dropping another 6 Premier League points. That the board are delaying the process of sacking Ollie because they don't want to sack Ollie, and they don't really want to bring in Conte. But the board are in a position where they have to bring in a new manager. They have to sack Ollie. They have to bring in Conte because obviously, they don't want to sack Ollie. He's their puppet. He's not going to complain. He's a little good boy, Ollie. He's not going to expose the board. Conte's like Mourinho in the sense that he comes in, he's going to be like, these coaches are crap. Why do you do this? This transfer system's crap. Why do you want me to give this player a new contract when I'm not going to use them just to extend their contract? Conte's not the type of man to let the Glazers and the club's poor habits boss him around, where Ollie is so happy to be in the job that he will. And I think that's one of the reasons that they're so reluctant to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But guys, I do want to actually get into the stories that have been said, because it is very comical. That's what I'm going to say. The dressing room is gone. But quickly, guys, before I do, why is my voice gone? Why is my voice going to? Before I do get into the news about what Ronaldo and players have been saying about Ollie, make sure you smash a like on the video if you haven't already, and do subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel for daily Manchester United news. We're on the road to 21k, very close to that, so do subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I just want to throw this out here. This video is sponsored by Surfshark, by the way, guys. Surfshark is a VPN. You can see a link to it pinned in the description, a link to it pinned in the chat. Surfshark VPN is just really, really good. I use it all the time to access, because I live in England and I want to watch shows that aren't on the English Netflix, but they're on the American Netflix. I use Surfshark VPN. In England, you can't watch the 3 p.m. Saturday kickoffs because they're not shown in England. I use Surfshark VPN and I watch the 3 o'clock games, the 3 o'clock backup games using Surfshark VPN because I can get access to American sites to watch matches that aren't shown in England. So Manchester United Watford won't be on TV. I use Surfshark so I can access that match. Or if you do want to use illegal links to access football matches that you can't get in England, at least Surfshark protects you on that. So if you use the code ATF on Surfshark, you can get 83% off, and there's a link in the description to download that and a link pinned in the chat. So do that. And Gordon Murray, thank you very much for the early super chat. He said Mark Ogden said it on Romano's channel, Poch is who they really want. And yeah, I did hear that, and I was going to get into that. But Manchester United are talking about Poch again, and Poch is at PSG. Like, maybe Poch is who we really want, but Conte's available and Conte wants the job. Now, I do think one thing with Pochettino is, with Conte, he wants to play 5 at the back. I think with the players we have, Conte doesn't particularly suit 5 at the back. But I think Conte is a more convincing manager than Pochettino for me, because I look at Pochettino at PSG and he's got a lot of individual brilliance at PSG, Pochettino, and he's better manager than Oli, but Pochettino's not that convincing at PSG, to be fair. I want a manager that's going to come in and I know has managed elite players and has won trophies. I want a manager that I know has won trophies, because what we want at Manchester United is not a rebuild, not a player that suits the Man United way. We want a player that's going to take this elite squad, the best squad we've had since Sir Alex Ferguson, onto the next level to win trophies. We want to win trophies, and that's what I want to see at Manchester United. But thank you very much, Gordon, for the super chat there. Guys, I do want to talk about the dressing room drama. Because the Man United dressing room is an absolute mess. And look, it's pretty obvious that the players want Solskjaer sacked. There's a Man United player, maybe one, maybe two, that are leaking stuff to the press. There's no doubt there's a Man United player in the dressing room that is leaking stuff to the press because they want Ole gone. And by leaking this stuff to the press, it makes it harder and harder and harder for the Glazers to keep Ole when they're hearing that there's literally arguments going on with buy-in or Ronaldo and Ole. Why is Maguire captain? Questioning decisions. So there's a Manchester United player probably leaking stories to the press. I'm not going to say who I think it is, but if it was Donny van de Beek, I wouldn't blame him. That's all I'm saying. If it was Donny van de Beek, I wouldn't fucking blame him. But we don't know who it is. It could be just a coach. It could be someone that hates Ole, but I don't think it would be the coach, just because when Ole goes, they go. You know what I mean? But the Times Sport, and this was written by Paul Hirsch from the Times. He's a very, very respected journalist. Now, Paul Hirsch from the Times Sport obviously must have got information from a very, very reliable source. He's not the type of guy to make this up like the Sun. And there's a lot of reports going on about what's going on in the Manchester United dressing room, what's going on in Solskjaer's camp. And it's understood that players hit out at each other and the management during the clear air meeting between players and staff 2 days after the 4-2 defeat to Leicester City. So Manchester United, when they lost 4-2 to Leicester City, had a meeting 2 days later. And what Paul Hirsch is saying is one of the players criticised his teammates for apparent lack of motivation. Another even questioned the decision to give Harry Maguire the armband just 6 months after his arrival. Apparently, a player's asking, why is Maguire captain? Like, that's absolutely mad. Another player turned directly on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, grilling him over his reluctance to drop players who were performing poorly in game. The same player claimed that Solskjaer and his staff were too resistant to reward players for training well. And this is the story for me that 100,000% hits the nail on the head. One player has gone up to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and directly grilled him over his reluctance to drop the same underperforming players who are playing poor in games, and why he's not rewarding players that are doing well in training with game time. Now, for me, that could be Bailly, that could be Donny, that could even be Ronaldo. We don't know, but whoever that player is, you deserve a round of applause, because we're all thinking that too. Obviously, The Athletic, I think it was, or the Manchester Evening News, it was one of those sources, came out 2 days ago and said that Donny van de Beek apparently is really, really good in training, and players don't understand why Donny, Jesse and Eric Bailly haven't been given a chance. 2 days ago, they said, people were shocked that apparently Eric Bailly had a go at Solskjaer for playing an injured Maguire over him when he's fully fit. That was a new story that came out the other day. Obviously, the news story that came out the other day, again by English sources, reliable, respected sources, were that the players do not like the coaching. They think the coaches aren't good enough. They don't understand their tactics. The players, apparently, Manchester United are getting told to press versus Liverpool, but the coaching haven't done any pressing and training. And Manchester United, apparently, the tactics are Ole and the coaches tell them to do things they haven't even done in training. And apparently, Manchester United players don't understand Solskjaer's tactics. They don't understand his reluctance to go and win games, in the sense of apparently players were saying, like, why aren't you risking to win games? They question Ole's decision-making skills. They're questioning his lineups. Why are the same players playing? There's a lot of issues going on at Manchester United at the moment. Players literally saying, why is Ole making this sub? Why is this player not playing? Why isn't Ole changing this? They don't think Ole's capable of winning a trophy. And these stories have all been coming out from respected sources in the last few days. And what that makes me think is that there's got to be a player in the club leaking this, because these are coming out from sources. This isn't from the Sun. I'm talking Paul Hurst, the Times, the Manchester Evening News, the Athletic. This is coming from sources that do have respect on their name, and they're literally saying multiple things. It's not just one report, guys. Like, it's not just one report about the dressing room. It's reports about a player saying, why is Harry Maguire captain? It's about reports saying players saying, why is this player not motivated? It's reports saying that a player has complained about certain players underperforming, still playing. There's apparently Manchester United players are annoyed that Ole keeps playing the same underperforming players and that new players aren't getting a chance. They're questioning his tactics. They want the coaches gone. Like, this is story after story after story at Manchester United, and I sit here and I'm still in absolute shock that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager when these stories and reports are coming out about him. Like, I'm sorry, like, if the board had a meeting on Monday where they kind of had to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he lost 5-0 to our rivals, and all these stories are also coming out on Monday about how the dressing room's gone, how the players are arguing with Ole. Apparently, Eric Bailly actually confronted Ole about the 4-2 loss to Leicester and said, why is an injured Maguire playing over me? I've signed a new 5-year deal. You said you wanted me. Why is an injured Maguire playing over me? We obviously know that Van der Beek is incredibly frustrated, and news reports come out saying that if Ole is sacked, Van der Beek would like to stay and revive his Manchester United career. But if Ole stays, Van der Beek will 100% leave in January. And we know that Van der Beek is absolutely fuming because he was this close to getting a leave. You remember, Donny Van der Beek was this close to leaving Manchester United, and Ole stopped him going on loan. Ole blocked the move at the last minute and would not let Donny leave the club because he told Donny he would play him, and he promised Donny he would play him. Yet Donny, despite being man of the match in that Carabao Cup game against West Ham, has not had a single minute since. When the same Fred and McTominay, who've been underperforming, and especially McTominay. Now, Fred has been shit all season, but he was quite good versus Atalanta. But especially McTominay, an injured McTominay that hasn't had a good game for Manchester United since we beat Southampton 9-0. That is not a CDM. That Pogba is better defensive than McTominay, is getting game time over the like of Donny Van der Beek. And I sit there and I think that is an absolute disgrace. I think that is an absolute disgrace in its own sense as well, because I feel infuriated for Donny Van der Beek. And you know what? If it is there's definitely a player in the club leaking this news because it's reliable journalists saying this. But if it is Donny Van der Beek who's leaking the news about the dressing room problems, I will applaud him. I'll say, Donny, I don't bloody blame you, because that manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, has not treated Donny Van der Beek really well. And I do want to throw this out now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, unfortunately, he will be Manchester United manager for the Spurs game on Saturday. So it's Nuno versus Ole, who's going to get sacked first, all of that. Ole is manager for Manchester United versus Spurs on Saturday. Fabrizio Romano's confirmed that. Now, if Ole drops points to Spurs, he's gone. What we're hearing right now is, unless Ole produces a miracle, it's pretty set in steel that their replacement will come in the November window. There's lots of reports coming out that actually Ole hasn't been sacked yet, but that's because Man United are waiting to see if Conte's the right man or see if they can get Poch. Apparently, Manchester United's plan is to bring someone in the November. Why am I saying November window? The international break in November. Apparently, they don't want Conte in now because he's got Man City, Tottenham, and Atalanta, and they think that's a really hard first 3 games to adapt the squad to. So that's why they don't want to take the risk with Conte. I read that and I think, bullshit. You want to take the risk with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's just been battered by everyone he plays against Spurs, Man City, and Atlanta, but you don't want to take the risk of Conte. Yes, Conte's new. Yes, Conte's got to try something new. But bloody hell, I'd much rather have Conte managing these next 3 games than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, even if Conte hasn't spent a day training with the squad. Because I tell you what, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's lost the dressing room. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's tactics are a disgrace. I just sit there and I go, no. I sit there and I go, no. And I still can't believe he's not been sacked. But what I want to do, I just went on a bit of a tangent there. What I do want to say is, McTominay and Fred cannot start versus Tottenham. Ollie has 3 games to save his job, guys. Ollie has 3 games to save his job. And McTominay and Fred were part of that 5-0 defeat to Liverpool. McTominay and Fred played and we went 2-0 down against a very poor Atalanta. McTominay and Fred, as a partnership, have not done anything good this season, have not kept any clean sheets, so you can't say McFred keep your clean sheets, they haven't. If Ole Gunnar Solskjaer plays McFred versus Spurs, he's basically asking to be sacked. Because I am sorry, if you lose 5-0 to Spurs and the same players start the next game, then as a manager, you deserve to be sacked. I will have no sympathy for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at all when he gets sacked if he continues McFred. He wouldn't even sub McTominay and Fred off versus Spurs, and I thought that was madness. McTominay and Fred wouldn't even get subbed off versus Spurs. You wouldn't sub them off versus Spurs. I thought that was madness. Not Spurs, but versus Liverpool, sorry. If Donny van Beek and Matic do not play in the pivot versus Tottenham, I'll be disgraced. Because, Ollie, you've got 3 games to save your job, and what you're doing isn't working. And if you really want to save your job, then you've got to try something new. You've got to get over your McFred affair. Now, I know Pogba won't be able to play the next 3 games for Manchester United. Pogba's out for the next 3 games. So it is probably going to be McFred. Or it could be Matic and Fred, possibly, but that doesn't work. It could be Matic and McTominay. But why doesn't Ollie play Donny? Because I'm at the point where I genuinely believe Ollie's only way of maybe getting a miracle to save his job and win these next 3 games would be using Donny van de Beek. Because he's tried everything but using Donny van de Beek this season. And when Donny van de Beek has been used this season, he's played well. And I think I do feel sorry a little bit for Fred and McTominay. I think that Fred and McTominay aren't as bad players as we think. I think they're not very good players, but they're not coached properly, so that's why they look atrocious. Because I actually saw pictures, and I'll get some images on my screen later, of Fred and McTominay in the midfield versus Liverpool. And Manchester United were basically playing a 4-2-4. A 4-2-4. And the space that Fred and McTominay have to cover and run around and occupy is massive, that I think it's impossible for even Conte or Kimmich to do a good job on that. Because we look at when Pogba and Matic played, they were better than Fred and McTominay, but they weren't brilliant. Pogba and Matic versus Leicester. And I think that is down to the coaching. I'm thinking, you know what, our 2 players in the pivot have this much space to cover. And we're relying on Fred and McTominay to do that. I think, you know, you get a coach like Antonio Conte, Fred and McTominay, they wouldn't play under Antonio Conte together. One would play, not the other. But they would look a lot better than they are. Because I'm thinking if Pogba and Matic didn't look good versus Leicester, and Fred don't look good, and Matic and Fred don't look good, and whoever plays in the pivot doesn't look good, apart from that one game versus West Ham with Matic and Donny, where the pivot did look good, and we still lost, I think that's on the coaching. And I genuinely believe we get a better coaching, we get an experienced coach in, and there will be a lot of improvements at Manchester United. a lot of improvements. Everybody, please do smash a like on the video if you have not already. And if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do subscribe to the channel down below. We're on the road to 21k, so please do smash that like button if you're already out, and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed. Any questions for me, please do pop them down below in the live chat. And as always, this video is sponsored by Surfshark. Please do go download Surfshark. It's a really good, efficient app. I wouldn't be sponsoring it if I didn't think it was brilliant. It protects you on the internet in terms of safety. I can use it to watch American Netflix, American shows. And why I love Surfshark, and one of the reasons I agreed this partnership with Surfshark is I can watch football games that aren't shown in England because Surfshark changed my location to America, can access Peacock, the USA Network, Universo, all the American sites that show the Premier League games that aren't in England, and I can watch the 3 p.m. blackout games from my phone using Surfshark and do watch-alongs for you guys. So 83% off if you use the code ATF, link pinned in the chat, link in the description. Do go and download Surfshark, by the way, if you have not already. Saragant says here, trouble with Conte is Sancho, Rashford, Pelestri, Martial, every winger in our squad. Great work, Alice. Yeah. Now, Conte did actually use wingers at Chelsea, but he didn't use wingers at Inter. Now, I do like Conte, and I'm so Ollie out that that's why I want Conte in. Conte was never my first choice, but I've become to like Conte and want Conte because I'm so Ollie out. Because I look at this, you know, I look at the Manchester United squad and I go, Amad Diallo, really good up-and-coming winger. Alanga, really good up-and-coming winger. Pelestri, really good up-and-coming winger. They're not even getting on the squad. But Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford are wingers. Martial and Greenwood can play striker, but again, they can play wing. Manchester United have abundance of wingers and attackers. I'm talking Ronaldo, Cavani, Sancho, Martial, Rashford, you know, Greenwood, Diallo, Bruno, Pogba can even play on the list of Manchester United attackers goes on. And I think as if I was looking for an ideal manager, I'd want a manager that plays a 4-3-3 or an attacking formation. So personally, I would go with Erik ten Hag. We've been told in Manchester United would like Erik ten Hag. They are looking at him, but it'd be very hard to obtain Erik ten Hag. We'd have to probably wait to the end of the season. I don't want to risk getting in the Conference League or finishing 8th for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this season. So that's probably why we're not going to get ten Hag. But I look at all the Manchester United attackers, and I do agree. I like Conte. I want Conte to come because I can't watch another game under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It is killing me. I'm not looking forward to Saturday's game against Spurs. I always look forward to Manchester United games, and got so excited about the season. I was looking forward so much to the season that, I was like, this is exciting. Something's going to happen this season. I'm dreading the Spurs game because even though Nuno's not been brilliant with Spurs and Spurs aren't great, we'll probably give them a win. They did beat Manchester City. Spurs are hit and miss. They're inconsistent. I mean, Spurs are inconsistent, whereas we're consistently shit. At least Spurs can be good every couple of games, whereas we have been consistently shit, even in the games we've won. Other than the second half versus Atalanta, we haven't had a good game since Newcastle, and that was Ronaldo's debut. We are consistently shit, and one of the reasons Manchester United are consistently shit this season is because the dressing room is gone. The dressing room is gone. It is dead. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's one of the reasons that we've been absolutely poor. And, when the dressing room is this gone, and as I mentioned earlier in the video, when you're literally getting reports about players questioning why Maguire's captain, when you're getting told that Ronaldo's taken over the dressing room and is trying to lift the mood and trying to get the players to stop turning on Ole, you're thinking that's what Maguire should be doing. Why is Maguire Manchester United captain? When he comes out in an interview and says, I'm only here because I have to, he's sitting back doing nothing, where Ronaldo's taking charge and trying to change the dressing room, and Ronaldo's trying to stop the players turning on Ole. And, Ronaldo should be given captaincy because at least he's a born winner and he actually knows the club better than Maguire because he has been here technically since 2003 to 2009. I think it's absolutely mad that we know the dressing room's gone. Like, Maguire shouldn't be captain. People are saying Eric Bailly's angry that an injured Maguire's playing over him. Multiple players apparently are frustrated that the same underperforming players are starting week in, week out. Players are annoyed with Ole's reluctance to change. Players do think Ole's good enough to win trophies because of his substitutions. Players don't think Ole's a bold enough manager. Players are complaining about the coaching. Players are basically complaining about everything at Manchester United, and it's coming out. Just like that player from Australia did today, actually. Fair play to him and all of that. Very, very brave of him. But it's just all coming out at the moment, guys. And Ole's mudded. He's screwed, and he can't come back from this because the dressing room is gone. No matter what he tries, when the dressing room is gone, it's gone. And as I said earlier, like, when I mean the dressing room is gone, like, it's gone Madeleine McCann. Like, it's gone. Like, you aren't going to find what's happened for years. You're not going to solve it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You need to get someone proper in to solve the problem. You know what I mean? And that is the problem Manchester United are in. That is the problem that we're in, because our owners are so incompetent. Our owners didn't watch the Liverpool game. Abramovich watches a lot of Chelsea. Our owners don't watch our games. Woodward hasn't been to Old Trafford in a while. Richard Arnold, never see him. Our owners and the people on the board actually haven't been watching Solskjaer's last 5-6 games in charge. Because I tell you what, if those people in charge of Manchester United have actually watched Ole's last few games in charge, they would be sacking him. They would be sacking him because even when he's won, he's not been good. And this is the problem. Ole can win, and it can be a really unconvincing win. But he won't get sacked because they'll just see a win. They don't actually watch the game. Alice, did you watch the Romano interview with Mark Ogden? Very insightful. I did not watch the interview. However, I have quotes from the interview. I probably will watch the interview at some point. But what I do have is like a specific quote from the interview. Guys, quickly, please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already. And please do go ahead and subscribe down below to Alice Talks Football if you're not subscribed to the channel. I do daily Manchester United content on my channel. I'm going to be live tomorrow night with more updates, maybe a Spurs preview talking about how I think we'll line up versus Spurs, as well as at the weekend there'll be a watch along the match reaction to the Spurs game. For more updates on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's future and the latest on Conte, Ten Hag, Pochettino, Zidane, make sure you're subscribed, because just because Ole's going to be manager for the Spurs game doesn't mean he's going to be Manchester United manager in a month's time. Reliable sources are saying actually it's very, very unlikely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will make it past the international break unless he produces a miracle. So make sure to subscribe so you stay up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and updates, because as I said earlier, it's very, very unlikely that Ole's actually going to get particularly past this international break, and I think there's still a lot more to come. Positive news, guys, though. One positive thing to talk about at the moment is actually Mr. Rafael Varane is in training, spotted in training. And once again, thank you, Gordon Murray, for the super chat. Ole has lost the players. Donny wouldn't even play for him now, not even if chosen. Ole might as well go. This is the thing. I was thinking about this earlier on my walk. And let me know what you guys think in the comments. But if you're Donny van de Beek and Ole gives you a chance, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has to give Donny van de Beek a chance, because look at Scott and Fred. They conceded 5 to Liverpool. How can you trust them? They've been awful anyway. But if you're Donny van de Beek and Ole gives you a chance, do you play really, really well so he gives you another chance? Or do you not try because you don't like the manager and you want him sacked? It's like, if you're Donny van de Beek, like, what do you do if Ole plays you? Because you don't like the manager, you're not playing for the manager, but then, you want to play well because you want to get back in the team. And I think Donny van de Beek's a very, very good professional, is that he would play well and give it his all. I believe he would. Because even if Ole stays, that playing well could up him the move. Do you know what I mean? Or mean if Ole stays, he's more likely to get played. But actually, if you're Donny van de Beek, what would you guys do? Would you just not try so he gets that? Because Donny could put a masterclass in and save Ole's job, for all we know. Unlikely, but because he's not going to get a chance to. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what you'd do if it was Donny. One thing that is brilliant, though, is Rafael Varane is back in training. And I tell you what, I mean, people are saying Rafael Varane's a flop. I'm like, no, have you seen how shit our defence is without him? Rafael Varane physically can't be a flop because of how atrocious our defence is without him. I look at him, I'm like, you can't call Varane a flop because look at that defence. Guys, by the way, we're only 45 subscribers away. We're only 45 subscribers away from 21k. Only 45 more of you need to subscribe for us to hit 21k. So all I'm saying, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do go subscribe down below for daily Manchester United news updates. You won't be disappointed on the Alice Talks Football channel. So what happens if Ole wins the next 3 games? If Ole wins the next 3 games, then the Glazers will use it as an excuse not to sack Ole. However, do you think Ole's going to win the next 3 games? Manchester City, Atalanta, Spurs. Do you think Ole's going to win 3 games in a row? Considering he's lost the dressing room, I think it's impossible. If Ole had the dressing room, he could win those next 3 games, because we've seen Ole beat Spurs and Manchester City when his job was on the line. But the reason Ole actually beat Spurs and Manchester City when his job was on the line was because the players were playing for him. He had the dressing room. The situation right now is Ole doesn't have the dressing room, so I think he is a goner. He is a goner. I doubt he will win. A comment here from Azam says that Van de Beek should play well to show how much he is worth to increase his market value in case Ole stays. And if Ole is out, the replacing manager will also be impressed while he's watching. Exactly. 100% agree with that comment. And Varane is world class. Come on. There's some Arsenal fans, because you know Arsenal. You know when you're an Arsenal fan, you're a bit low. You haven't been in the Champions League for 5 years. There's Arsenal fans saying that Ben White is clear of Varane. He's not. Just because he's kept more clean sheets doesn't mean he's better. Varane, when he's played, has been good in a shit system. Tell you what, if Ben White was playing for Manchester United right now, we'd have conceded 10 goals every game, not 5. He's a good player, but it's not better than Varane. I watched it and I'm like, no. Simon Stone said that Sir Alex Ferguson wasn't at Carrington yesterday. There's some fake stories about Paul Pogba and Sir Alex coming out. And Justin, as Manchester United are prepared to lose Paul Pogba for nothing next summer after accepting the midfielder will not sign a new contract. Mark Ogden, a pretty reliable source, says that Paul Pogba is set to leave Manchester United after not signing a new contract. And I think the only way we can keep Pogba is getting a new manager. I think the only way to keep Pogba is getting a new manager. And if the Glazers want to risk losing Pogba on a free for Ole Love, so be it. Also, breaking news that the 5 substitutions in football are set to become permanent, by the way, guys, just to throw that out. And that Paul Pogba will have a 3-match ban, so Ole can't even play Paul Pogba in the 3 games he's got to save his job. Sky Sports News says that Antonio Conte has been linked to contender to Manchester United should they sack Solskjaer. But apparently the reason we didn't jump on Conte, despite him saying he's available and wanted the job, is because Manchester United want a manager with a different profile to Antonio Conte. And obviously, if you just join, a lot of news reports are saying that Manchester United are going to wait till the international break to get a manager in, because it gets them time to bring a manager in, train with the squad, and make a plan. And blah, blah, blah. Samuel Luckhurst says Ten Hag is more of a case of online noise. So, Samuel Luckhurst says that United like Ten Hag, unrealistic. It's more of a case of noise. And Samuel Lucas also said on the dressing room, by the way, guys, this is the most fought it has been. The players like him, but always found him too soft. He's been confronted by some small fry players in the dressing room, and they are still at the club. And Samuel Lucas is saying a lot of players are confronting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in the dressing room, and he also said there's a lot of issues to resolve on both sides if Conte should be replacing Solskjaer, because he's aware of the problems at Manchester United go beyond the manager and the uncertainty over Woodward's departure and successor. Apparently Conte is a little bit worried about who's going to replace Woodward and his successor. Thank you very much for Hit for the super chat. With Ollie, we will 100% lose to City and Atlanta and prob Spurs. The incompetence of the board is unbelievable. And do you know what really infuriates me? And I did a short video yesterday. It was about 5-6 minute upload yesterday, reacting to news that Ollie was staying. And do you know what really annoyed me is, we could get Conte in right now. We could get Conte in right now. But what the board are going to do is they're going to wait for Ollie to drop 6 points against City and Spurs and then get Conte in. And we'll be sitting here in the international break saying, if only you got Conte 2 weeks ago, we might have 6 more points. And that 6 points could be the difference between top 4 or a Premier League title. If our board was run by Sheikh Mansour, or if we had Abramovich as our owner, Ollie would have been a goner. Ollie would have been a goner right after the Liverpool match. They wouldn't have even waited 2 days to make a decision on it. He would have been a goner like that because they're ambitious. Ollie would have been a goner before the Liverpool match if we had proper owners. But what I'm trying to say is the fact that we know Ollie's probably going to go in the November break, unless he produces a miracle, infuriates me, because why wait to the November break? If you want a manager, just go for the manager. But they don't want to, because the Glazers have to pay out Ollie and pay money to get a manager in. And they don't want to do that because they're tight bastards. And I said before, I said again, if you want a manager, go for it. Why are you waiting to the break? Because they're waiting to the break because they're thinking if Ollie wins these next 3 games, then they have an excuse not to sack him and not to pay those money. They're also waiting to the break because they don't want to give Conte the job, because Conte is going to question why Woodward's here. He's going to question the structure of the board, the structure of the coaches like Mourinho. Did they like Ollie because he's a Southgate, he's a competent manager? He's not going to question stuff. That is the problem right now at Manchester United. That is the problem. And I tell you this now, I'll be sitting here in 2 weeks after we've dropped 6 points, and I'll be saying, if we appointed Conte, we might have not dropped those points. And we'll probably go and appoint Conte in 2 weeks' time in the break because Ollie's fucked up. And we'll sit here going, if only they got him 2 weeks ago. And they wanted to take that risk, and that is on the board. And all of that. Yasto says, Ollie, Pogba, Fred and Maguire should go. They are useless, a waste of space and money. So many mistakes they commit. Glazers also out because always bad decision. Glazers have to go before anyone for me. Followed by Ollie and the coaches. Followed by certain players. Now, Paul Pogba, we've seen him on the Conte, a great player. I want to see a Paul Pogba touch a medium midfield with a good manager. I want Paul Pogba to stay. I don't mind. I think Fred, this is an unpopular opinion. People won't agree with me on this. I think Fred could be a good player under a good manager. Because Fred, when he goes off to Brazil, is always one of the best midfielders. Fred at Manchester United is always atrocious. And Fred's not the most technically gifted midfielder. I'm not saying that Fred would be a midfielder that starts week in, week out. He should be a bench player at Manchester United. But what I look at Fred is I look at actually what Fred has to do at Manchester United. And I look at the space. We play a 4-2-4 basically. And Fred and McTominay have 10 times more ground to cover than any other midfielder. And any midfielder that plays in that Manchester United pivot, it's going to be very, very hard for them to do a good job. And when you're a bang average midfielder like Fred and McTominay, it's near impossible to do a good job. However, I do think Fred as a squad player would be quite good under a better manager. I've always thought that. Ty wants Ollie forever at United. Look, do you know what the worst thing is? Leeds fans at the Arsenal game yesterday were singing, Ollie's at the wheel. Tell me how good does it feel? Absolutely mad. Liverpool, Villa and West Ham have kept more clean sheets at Old Trafford than Manchester United this season. And there's pictures coming out from Manchester United training. And you can see there's definitely a bizarre vibe in the squad. If Antonio Conte was to become Man United manager, he likes Skriniar, Barella, Brozovic and Lautaro Martinez as potential players for United. That's just a story coming out. But Manchester United have released training pictures, by the way, guys. And again, you know what? Fuck off. When Man United keep releasing this training pictures, this happy, let's forget about the result on social media. It just boils your blood. It just boils your blood how badly this club is run. Conte's the only manager that's available. Yes and no. Conte's the only manager that's available that we can get easily. But if Manchester United would really wanted Ten Hag, we could go get him. You know, you go pay a bit of money to Ajax, you go pay an Ajax contract, you can get him. The thing about United is they want a manager that's available now in a sense that they don't have to pay him out of contract. Because we're already paying off OLE, and then we'd have to pay another manager in. And that's what Man United don't want to do. So they will go for a manager that's available now. Because you know what? They're not that ambitious. For me, if I was the Manchester United owner right now, I'd be doing all I could to get Ten Hag in, Van der Sar in, get rid of Woodward, get rid of Arnold, get some coaches in, get a proper sporting director in. I'd be looking at getting players out. I'd be looking at Tuchemini and going all out for him in the summer. I'd be looking at keeping Paul Pogba. That's what I'd be doing. But our owners, they don't watch us play, so they don't actually know what to do because they don't watch us play. They just go, what's going to make us more money? Yash says he thinks they're waiting for Zidane, and they talked with him, and he said that he will be available on a certain date. He will be available, and that's why they're sticking with OLE. I mean, I've not heard that story, so I can't really comment on what you've said there, Yash. But possibly, I've heard rumours that Zidane wants Man United, and I've heard rumours that Zidane doesn't want Man United. One thing about Zidane is Pogba likes him, Ronaldo likes him, Varane likes him. Who are the two biggest personalities in that dressing room in terms of what they've achieved in their career? Pogba, Varane, Ronaldo. They all like Zidane. United apparently reluctant over Zidane because he doesn't speak English, but then Bielsa doesn't speak English. There's some, maybe that's true, but I haven't heard much about it. But Rafael Varane is apparently fully fit and will be returning to the Manchester United squad, which is good to know because bloody hell, we're going to need him in that Spurs game. Obviously, conceding 6 against Spurs again, and all of that. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already, guys, and hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed to the channel. We are 25 subscribers away from 21k. So if you're not subscribed to Alice Talks Football, please do go ahead and subscribe down below for daily Manchester United news updates. We're also 30 likes away from 300 likes. So if you're not hit that like button, please do. Any questions for me, pop them in the chat. And who would I prefer to come in as manager? Ten Hag, but I probably would prefer Zidane over Conte, just because Zidane does play with 4 at the back, and that's the only thing I feel like we don't have the players for 5 at the back. Everyone is on my wheel, and they should just pick Ten Hag and just go OLE. Chelsea or City could get Ten Hag if they wanted, but even I don't think he wants to leave Ajax mid-season. Yeah, I agree with that, Andrew. I think it would be hard to get Ten Hag because I don't think he'll do a Brendan Rodgers and leave the club. He's succeeding well in pre-season. Barcelona might sack Koeman, so Conte might go Barcelona as OLE is now saying. And that's the problem. We've waited so long to sack OLE that Tuchel's gone. Tuchel's gone. Nagelsmann's gone. Because we waited so long to sack OLE, Tuchel's gone, Nagelsmann's gone, Enrique's gone. Before we know it, Conte will be gone. Before we know it, Zidane will be gone. Before we know it, we'll be getting fucking Southgate in. That's the problem with Manchester United as well. That's a big problem there. Is Conte coming? Possibly. The news is that despite Ole Gunnar Solskjaer remaining in charge of the Spurs game, lots of reliable sources saying it's very unlikely that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will remain in charge of Manchester United after the international break, with United looking to get a replacement in the international break. So the news coming out is basically saying that it's very, very unlikely for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be in charge of the international break. And apparently United want Conte to come in after the international break because they don't want his first 3 games to be Man City, Atalanta, blah, blah, blah. And then there's other reports saying that because we're not that interested in Conte, we're going to wait to the international break to make a decision. That's the news coming out. Zidane will coach France. I get it. That wouldn't surprise me. Has CR7 voted for Conte appointment? Apparently CR7 is backing Ole, but that's just because he's got a captain mentality, unlike Maguire. And as Diego says, make sure you subscribe down below. And how much Southgate is the Southgate rumours aren't very reliable. We just talk about Southgate in a sense. When we're talking about Southgate, it's like how we talk about Phil Jones. You know how we always like, oh, play Phil Jones? Because we're like, it wouldn't surprise me if Ole played Phil Jones because, he hates Donny that much. When I talk about Southgate, I don't believe that we're going to get Southgate, but because of how badly our club is run, it's like, oh, no, in our club we get Southgate. There's not actually many rumours about Southgate to Manchester United and all of that. We always miss out on top gaffers. We do, and that's something that really annoys me about Manchester United. There's a lot of top players we'd be going for, and we just seem to miss out on them. Zidane don't want United job. Some sources say he don't. Some sources say he do. I think just Zidane's not that bothered about coming out of retirement. And around 500 watching, so let's smash that like button. Let's see if we can get 500 likes. For the 500 of you guys watching, keep smashing that like button. See if you're not getting any likes. And Ollie's just said he's not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere if you stop playing McFred, maybe. But yeah. Alice, the whole coaching staff needs to be changed as well as the manager. And that's one thing, as soon as a new manager comes in, Phelan, McKenna, Carrick are goners. It ain't Friends FC. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might be a manager all about Friends FC. But we're Manchester United. We're not Friends FC. We want new managers in. We want top managers in. And yeah, I 100% agree with you there. Ollie lost control of the team. And if we want to save our season, we need a winner mind manager. The other problem is we need players who play for the badge. We need players who play for the badge. But Fred and McTominay play for the badge. They're hard workers. I can trust them. They're not great. You need good players, but with the right personality and all of that. The only positive I can take from today is Ollie's job is still far from safe despite him being in charge for the Spurs game, and Varane is back in training. Phil Neville has spoken out about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, saying we live in an era where it's seen as quite normal to sack people, which I find incredible. Phil Neville's team, Inter Miami, currently sit 10th on the table with 32 points off first place. What I think is mad about Phil Neville's comment is doesn't Phil and Gary Neville sack about 50 managers at Salford? It's a bit of Mates FC, isn't it? A bit of Mates FC at Manchester United. If you're fed up with Mates FC, smash a like button. I heard a few people say it on Twitter, but do you know what's ruining Manchester United? Not just the Glazers, and the Glazers love the money, but favouritism. Favouritism is what is ruining Manchester United at the moment. Ollie picking his players because of his favourites. Maguire not getting dropped because he's a favourite. Luke Shaw a favourite, not been great this season. McTominay and Fred have been atrocious for much longer than anyone else, and Donny's been quite good when he plays. But it's all about favouritism, and that's that one thing that really, really annoys me about Manchester United is we're turning into favourites FC. We don't want to be favourites FC. We're Manchester United. We're Manchester United. We're about who plays well. And Aaron Hargreaves went and said it a couple of weeks ago. If Fred had performed how he performed versus Wolves Southampton under Sir Alex Ferguson, Fred wouldn't be starting a game for another month or two. But under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you can perform poor consistently. But if you're one of his favourites, you're one of his boys, you're going to start the next game. And for me, that's really frustrating. And I think especially now we've got a lot of depth in the squad. I think in the past, when we haven't had lots of depth in the squad, I've understood maybe playing the same players, because who else can you play? But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did this when Lingard and Pereira was poor. He wouldn't even give Angel Gomez a chance. He's not giving Donny a chance. Alex Tellers is a really good player. Luke Shaw, I think, needs a break. He's not been good, and all of that. So definitely, and all of that. And you've got to remember, Lampard was sacked. Chelsea won the Champions League. I don't know if you guys saw this, but there's Arsenal fans saying that they've won because Arteta's going to outlast Ole and Lampard. And for some reason, that really makes me laugh that Arsenal fans think they've won because Arteta's going to outlast Ole and Lampard, because actually sacking Lampard made Chelsea win because they won the Champions League. If anything, Chelsea won because they sacked their manager early enough to win a trophy, and it did massively make me laugh. But Ollie has not been sacked, and Ollie will be manager for the Spurs game. But I have to say, if Ollie wants to save his job, he's got to change up his lineups. He's got to change up his team. He's got to change up who's been playing, and he's got to strip Maguire of captaincy and give it to Cristiano Ronaldo, because Maguire is not a leader. Maguire is not a leader whatsoever. He's really, really not. And I think that's something that's massively got to change, and all of that. Varane is back for Saturday. Pogba's out though. I don't know what Ollie's going to do. I know with Varane back, we're not going to be so poor at the back. Will it be enough to save Ollie his job? I don't know. Why is Maguire captain? I don't understand. I don't understand even. I don't think a lot of players understand even. Maguire, the thing that's mad about the Maguire captaincy was Maguire was at this club 6 months and they gave him captaincy. Maguire didn't know, Maguire's not United through and through. He was at the club 6 months, you gave him captaincy. You should have given De Gea captaincy. You should have given Ronaldo captaincy. You have to be at a club for at least a year to be given captaincy and show captain mentality. Maguire's never once shown captain mentality. I'm only in this interview because I have to. Bruno's shown captain mentality. I tell you what, Scott McTominay at times has shown captain mentality. I ain't seen Maguire show captain mentality. I remember when we lost 6-1 to Spurs and we were saying Maguire's not a captain because Martial got sent off. And they released the audio footage of Martial being sent off because obviously there weren't crowds, so you could hear what the players were saying. And Rashford was sticking up for Martial when he got sent off unfairly because of the Lamella red card. And Maguire, there's a clip of Maguire going up to Rashford saying, "Just leave it, Rashford. Just leave it, Rashford. It's a foul. He hit him in the face. VAR will sort it." And I'm like, no, Maguire, you're a bloody captain. Shout down that ref and say, "Send off Lamella too." And that was when I knew Maguire wasn't a captain. And we always said that Bruno maybe should be captain, if not De Gea. But Bruno or Ronaldo should be Manchester United captain if we're going off mentality. And I think especially Ronaldo, because he is the one trying to fix this club together. This club is falling apart. This dressing room is gone. This dressing room is a mess. And Ronaldo's the one trying to fix it together. And, you know, even if I lose 10 games in a row, I still got Gary and everyone at my will. That's the annoying thing. Arsenal fans are deluded. Smash a like on the video if you think Arsenal are the most deluded fan base. And captain material, Bruno, Ronaldo, Varane, 100% agree. And Bruno, Ronaldo, and Varane are the three sort of players that, you know, probably want Zidane as well. So, interesting. Maguire's just too overrated. He's nothing compared to Varane. Maguire's nowhere near Varane, but Maguire is a good player. We've seen him for England and all of that. Maguire is a good player, but he's not been good at the moment. I actually do think there's a good player in Maguire. But if I was going to start, if I was Manchester United manager actually for the Tottenham game, I'm going to show you who I'd start. Okay. Let me share my screen, and we're gonna show some. Let me know who you'd start versus Spurs as well down below. Let me know who you start versus Spurs down below. But let's I just on the Twitter there, the Paul Pogba coming out, just exposing the sun and all that. But if I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and I've got 3 games to change my job, then I'm not playing a 4-2-3-1. It's not working. I'm going to a 4-3-3 because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the job of playing a 4-3-3 as interim manager. Remember, guys, he got the job of playing a 4-3-3. So if I'm Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I mean, De Gea in goal is the reason he's still in a job. I would still play Wan-Bissaka. I actually think, despite United being shit, I'm going to throw this out now. Despite Man United being shit since the red, for ages, I think Wan-Bissaka's not actually been that bad. I think he's not been that bad. I mean, he's not been good, but I think compared to the rest of the squad, it's Maguire and Shaw that have been poor at the back. I think since the red card, Wan-Bissaka's been all right, bar Liverpool. I'd be playing Varane, and I'd be playing Bailly. And you know what? Actually, I'll be playing Alex Telles. I'll be playing Alex Telles as well because Luke Shaw defensively is out of it. I would try something new. I don't care. Alex Telles got pace. I'll be playing that because Spurs have got a lot of pace other than Kane. Varane and Bailly can deal with Kane. That'll be my back 5. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. One of the reports that came out about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was players were frustrated because they don't feel like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ruthless enough. They don't feel like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is ruthless enough. They think he's too soft. And, Ole, you've not got to be soft. You've got to drop players. If your favourite player has underperformed than McTominay, you've got to drop him. It's not mates FC. This is what I feel with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We know the coaches are employed because they're Ole's mates. But I generally feel with some of the players in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's mates FC as well. McTominay and Maguire is mates. He can't drop his mates, McTominay and Maguire, because they're his mates. I feel like he's got an aspect of favouritism with his mates. So this was what I'd be doing. And look, I think Mason Greenwood's been absolutely incredible this season for Manchester United. I think he's been one of our best players. But we spent 80 million on Jadon Sancho, and we haven't even tried him as a right winger. Also, what I have to say is Rashford and Greenwood are both inside forwards. They both cut in and score goals. They don't create for a striker. We brought Sancho because he's a creative winger. We need Sancho to play. And up top would be Ronaldo, the leader. And I'd give Ronaldo captaincy. And that is what I do versus Spurs. That is the lineup I would play versus Spurs. It's hard not to get Cavani in there as well. Maybe you rest Rashford because he's only just come back from injury, and you start Cavani at striker and you put Ronaldo on the left if you want. But that's what I do versus Spurs. I'd be ruthless. I'd drop the key players, and that's what I would do versus Spurs. And if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer comes out and does that, and he gets a result versus Spurs, I'll be like, maybe you can turn it around. But I know he won't. I know it's going to be McFred. It could be 5 at the back. It could be the 4-2-3-1. That's what I want to see from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This squad, possibly Cavani in there. I think Greenwood's unlucky to be dropped, but we brought Jadon Sancho to play him on the right wing. He's got to be strict. Varane or Ronaldo, I've seen dressing room videos. They give speeches at halftime. Exactly, proper leaders. Saragon says De Gea, Telles, Varane, Wan-Bissaka, Matic, Van de Beek, Bruno, Martial, Sancho, CR7, Cavani. A very, very good squad there as well. I do agree with that. I think Martial's been decent as well. Ole won't play Donny, unfortunately, you're right. And Lingard, and Cavani for me. I think Lingard does deserve a chance. Scott Kelton, thank you for the super chat. He needs to stick with McFred. That's because you want him to get sacked and all of that. But, I agree. I actually don't think Wan-Bissaka's been that bad since the red card. I think he gets scapegoated. I think Fred's been bad, but I think McTominay's been worse than Fred. And I think Fred's the scapegoat. And I think Wan-Bissaka's another player that's a bit of a scapegoat because they're not, academy loved players and all of that. Poch1, something I prefer Big Balls manager, says Robert. I don't really understand why not use Eric Bailly and take the Harry out. Harry does Maguire needs his captaincy stripped and he deserves to be dropped. He needs his captaincy stripped and he deserves to be dropped. Ole Gunnar, stop saying lies. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer gave Bailly a new contract and told Donny was going to get game time. Ole does lie. Ole is a Glazer's puppet, and that's why the fans are turning on him. Pogba will miss 3 games because of red card, hence why this is my lineup versus Spurs. Put Lindelof in for Matic. I would like to try that one day, but not in this kind of game. Get Ten Hag or Conte in. Arsenal are shit. Oh, Arsenal, oi, he said. But I agree with that. Manager with a bad CV, 100%. As him says, 3 games to save his job can be costly. If we lose to Atalanta, the replacing manager will have to do tasks in saving the UCL season. Who among Conte, Ten Hag, Sudan Poch wants to play in Europa? Exactly as well. But if we lose to Atalanta, we can still get out of our group, but it would mean we have to beat Villarreal and Young Boys. And I think it's look, you know what? It sounds weird, even though we're doing a shit show in the league. I'm at a point where I'd rather just do what Chelsea did and have a shit season in the league and go and win the Champions League and get in the top 4 that way. I would, because I'm at the point where, for me, the Premier League's gone for me. The Premier League's gone for me. It's just a top 4 scrap already. The Premier League's gone for me. That I would rather lose to Spurs than lose to Atalanta, which sounds mad because I just think for me, the Premier League's gone. I don't think we're going to win the Champions League. But if we get out our group and an elite manager comes, takes over the squad, why can't we win the Champions League? We saw it happen with Chelsea, and I think the Premier League's gone. I think it's too late for that already because of how much Ollie's fucked us up. That I think actually these Champions League games are worth more than the Premier League games at the moment. And somehow, please stop this girl. She will expose Glazers. She's speaking facts. And Diego Simeone is one everyone's overlooking. Yeah, but he's quite defensive, and he's the highest paid manager in the world. He earns more than Pep. You'd have to pay a lot to get Simone. And I want to see us lose. At least that will make them sack Ollie. I want Ollie to go, but I do not want to watch us lose. I want us to beat Spurs. I don't care. I've never wanted us to watch us lose. We're so close to 21,000 subscribers, by the way, guys. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe. I'm 3 subscribers of 21k. So please do subscribe to the channel because the goal was 21k by the end of 2021. 21 and 21. And I think we're going to hit that unless those people unsubscribe, which would be a little bit tragic. So please do subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel. I just want to throw this out, by the way, guys. This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Surfshark is a VPN, by the way, guys, and what VPNs do, they can do loads of things, but one thing that I use a VPN for is it protects you on the internet. It just makes browsing on the internet a bit safe, so they can't, sites can't get your personal info or your location, all of that. But the main reason I use Surfshark VPN is you download Surfshark, you can change your location to America, you go on Netflix, you get access to all the American shows. If there's a show you want to watch and you don't want to pay for it and it's not in England, you can watch it in America. Likewise with the football matches at 3 o'clock on a Saturday aren't shown in England. Like the Leicester match, the 4-2 wasn't shown in England. The Watford match in 2 weeks won't be shown in England. And that could be a potential new manager's first game in charge, Man United versus Watford. That could be a potential new manager's first game in charge of Man United, and that won't be shown in England. But if you use Surfshark, the VPN, you can get access to that match, because what you can do with Surfshark VPN is you can get access to Peacock, USA Network using Surfshark VPN and watch the matches. But also you can, when you click on those dodgy Twitter links to watch illegal streams because it's not shown in England, at least you know you're safe. So use the code ATF for 83% off Surfshark, and 3 months free, by the way, guys. But I would highly recommend downloading it. This video is sponsored by it. That's what I use so I can do watch-alongs to games not shown in England and all of that. But make sure you smash a like on the video, subscribe down below, and all of that. Barca losing. Yeah, someone said Koeman's going to go before Ollie, and they're going to get Conte, which, is probably the sad truth. We could be even more fucked. But it is what it is, and all of that. But smash a like on the video. I'm going to end the live stream in the next 2 minutes. So any questions for me, please do pop them down below. But this has been a really, really good live stream, by the way, guys. I'm probably going to be live tomorrow night with the Manchester United versus Tottenham Hotspur preview. But what I do want to say is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is likely to be sacked in the international break, according to reports. However, United are the king of PR. United are the king of PR spin, media spin. We know what United are like. And are these reports about Ole being sacked into international break and got 3 games to save himself to PR? Are the Glazers not planning on sacking Ole? But if they say they're going to sack him international break, is that to keep us quiet? I think if Ole loses another game, he will be sacked to international break, especially with Conte available and basically asking for the job. But what I do want to say is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, should have been sacked. And it's a disgrace that the owners have not sacked Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm disgraced by it. I think it's very, very poor decision making. It does infuriate me that he hasn't been sacked because he deserves to be sacked. He's not been good enough. He doesn't deserve to keep his job. But the other thing is, why wait 2 weeks to sack him when you can sack him now and bring a world-class manager in? Why wait for him to drop more points, fuck us up even more when it's clear the dressing room's gone? And I think the main talking points from this video is literally saying that the dressing room is gone, the dressing room is screwed, and all of that, and saying that Conte's available. And, you know, why wait 2 weeks to sign Conte when it goes tits up? Because I just don't see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming back from this. I really, really don't see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer coming back from it. I've always said, look, I like Ole, he's a nice guy, I want him to succeed, I want him to prove me wrong, but I look at the tactics, I look at the setup, I look at the same underperforming starting 11 playing, and it frustrates me. And from the leaks, it's also frustrating the players. And at the end of the day, when a manager's in the mud or not great, he needs the players to play for them. And, you know, I don't believe those players will play for Ole. I think it is pretty clear that Ole's lost the players, which, you know, is a shame. And, you know, when you make Maguire captain and you play your favouritism and you're playing the same old crap football with not very good coaches, it makes it really hard for Ole. And the thing that's sad about it is that Ole generally wants to succeed. Ole generally wants to be a good Manchester United manager. But unfortunately, it's just not what it is. It is what it is. And unfortunately, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't think he's the man for the job. But guys, I am going to end the live stream now. Ole's smiling and enthused as always. But thank you everyone for watching today's video. Please do smash a like on the video if you haven't already, and subscribe down below to Alice Talks if you're not subscribed. I will be live tomorrow night for a Manchester United versus Spurs preview, plus more updates and news if any comes out. So make sure you subscribe for that. But thank you everyone for watching today's video. If you had any questions in the live chat, if you put any questions in the live chat that I didn't answer, make sure to subscribe with post notifications on, because I will be subscribed tomorrow, and I will read a lot more of your live chats out in tomorrow's live stream, and got a lot to talk about. So make sure to subscribe with notification bell on. Smash a like on the video. Let's go for 500 likes if you're not already. Do go download Surfshark, code ATF for 83% off. Pinned in the chat, link in the description. Do download Surfshark. Highly recommend it. But smash your like, smash your subscribe. See you next time, guys. Thank you for watching. Bye.